Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angelisa and on this channel we read, discuss, and obsess over books together. And today I'm going to be doing my mid-year check-in because I realized that we are more than halfway through July, which means more than halfway through the year, and I haven't done a mid-year check-in. I did this last year on my channel. I will link it in the description below and like on the screen somewhere, and I'll put all the questions and stuff from the original tag video that I got these from. So I'm going to answer the same questions as last year. Last year I started off with storygraph statistics, then a few tag questions, and then I went through a quick run through of all the books that I read in 2023. So this year I'll do the same thing, but for the first half of 2024. So we're gonna start off with our storygraph statistics as always. So first of all, so far this year I read 51 books for a total of 20,012 pages. I believe my goal was 100 books and 50,000 pages, so I'm about on track for both of those goals. There's a new stat on storygraphs called average finishing time. I've seen this for the past few months and I thought it was really cool. So it actually tells me for the first half of the year so far, my average finishing time is 9 days. This tracks because sometimes I'll finish a book in like 1 to 3 days and other times it'll take me like a few weeks, but I'll be reading other books in between then. For moods, I'm just gonna read them in order of like what was the most frequent to least frequent. So first we have emotional and dark, followed by tense, and then funny, and then mysterious, lighthearted, and adventurous, and then reflective, hopeful, and sad, and then relaxing and challenging, which is kind of two opposites actually. For pace, 2/3 of my books, so 67%, were like regular old medium pace, and then I had 31% fast and only 2% slow. I don't really love slow-paced books. I find them really boring, and I think with like my anxiety and ADHD and all that, like I need a fast-paced book or a medium pace to keep me going. For page numbers, most of my books, 84%, were the average page numbers like 300 to 499, and then I had 8% that were under 300 and 8% that were above 500. For fiction versus nonfiction, I had 98% fiction, which I think means that only like one of my books was nonfiction. And I can literally think of which one it was off the top of my head already, so. And then for genres, I had 25 romance, 19 contemporary, 12 thriller, 9 fantasy, 7 young adult, 7 historical, 6 literary fiction, 5 mystery, 4 dystopian, 4 sci-fi, 2 erotica, 1 middle grade, 1 LGBTQ+, 1 sports, and 1 memoir. And then my most read authors, most of these are part of series or just like they have a bunch of books that I've read. So top one is Sarah J. Maas. I read Throne of Glass, part of the series this year, and I reread ACOTAR. And then it's Suzanne Collins. I read the Hunger Games series this year. Lisa Jewell, I read a few of her mysteries this year. Julia Quinn, I continued the Bridgerton series this year. Abby Jimenez, I like went on an Abby Jimenez kind of sprint for a bit, and I'll probably get back into her books eventually. Tessa Bailey, self-explanatory. Emily McIntyre, I read I think the first 2 books in her series, and then Elsie Silver, I read the first 2 books in her series. And then the average star rating so far this year is 4.24 stars. That makes me so happy. I feel like I've had such a great reading year so far, and a total of 14 5-star books, which is just lovely. Like I'm so happy for myself for that, because that means I'm reading books that like I'm actually enjoying and liking. Okay, so now into the tag questions. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2024. Now there are a few books I could mention for this, so I'm gonna kind of do it by genre, I guess. So for romance, I'd probably say Funny Story by Emily Henry. I know that sounds like such a like cliche answer, but I love every Emily Henry book and they're always so good and leave me just like so warm inside. So I'd probably say Funny Story. For fantasy, I really loved Clytemnestra and the Throne of Glass series. Obviously, I continued reading that this year and that was superb. And then for mystery, I think None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell was my favorite this year so far. I thought it was so good and just caught me really off guard. It was so different from her other books, so yeah, I really liked that one. Oh, and I forgot to mention Chestnut Springs. Like that is definitely the best romance series I've read this year so far. Number 2, the best sequel that you've read so far in 2024. I'm gonna have to say Heartless by Elsie Silver. I literally read the first book Flawless and didn't expect that it would get any better, and then I read Heartless and I was like, damn, this is an amazing sequel to a standalone series. And like I've heard people say that like the 5th book has dethroned the 2nd book for them, so we will see what happens when I get there. Number 3, a new release that you haven't read yet but want to. Oh my god, I have a few on the list for these. So first we have Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I still haven't read that, and that came out this year. And then there's Wild Love by Elsie Silver. That came out a few months ago, and because I want to read Chestnut Springs first, I haven't read Wild Love yet, but I really want to. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, that came out like a month or two ago, and I've been really excited to read that because I did read Part of Your World and Yours Truly, and then this is Just for the Summer, which is like the third book in this standalone series. The Powerless and like Reckless duo, as well as like Powerful, that like 1.5 book, I haven't read any of them, and Reckless just came out, so I'm very intrigued and I've heard amazing things, so I want to read those. And then A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, that got released like last month, and I'm super excited for that one because it sounds so cool, like being in kind of like a romance book or something like that. Like I thought it was really cool. Number 4, your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I have a few on my list for this. So the first one is Daydream by Hannah Grace. I'm really excited for that one. It's the third book in the Icebreaker series, following one of our favorite characters. I'm pretty sure it follows Henry, which is a fan favorite. Everybody loves Henry, so I'm excited for that. As well as The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. So that goes with like the X-Hex and the Kiss Curse, I think, and this is her third book, so I'm really excited for that one. And Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter is coming out later this year, I think, which is kind of like a sequel to Better Than the Movies, so I'm very excited for that one because I loved that book. And then this isn't actually coming out this year, but it's coming out in January, but I just wanted to put it on here because it's Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I am super excited for that book, so I've been thinking about it all year. I'm really excited about that one. Okay, number 5, the biggest surprise. So for one, I think Chestnut Springs I didn't expect to like as much as I did. Like I knew everybody loved it and the hype was real, but I didn't think that like I would find like cowboys or any of that like as attractive or sexy as I did. And just like the entire age gap thing, like I was never a fan of age gap romances, but now I kind of am. Like that was amazing. That's how I feel about Chestnut Springs. And then 2 other books that kind of surprised me, I think, would be, one is Alone with You in the Ether. I just wasn't expecting what it was about to be about that. Like I think I just didn't understand Olivia Blake's writing or what it was about before going into it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like I really did like it. And then another book that surprised me was Once More with Feeling. I think I knew that I wasn't gonna like that book, but I just didn't expect it to be as bad as it was for me. So yeah, that was kind of surprising. Like I've never rated a book 1 star before, but I did this time. Number 6, my favorite new author, debut or new to you. So for these, I'm gonna have to say Elsie Silver, of course, and Abby Jimenez. This year I came to appreciate her writing and her books so much, and just the kind of like storylines and plots that she writes in. Like I love her little tidbits, and she's so funny. Abby Jimenez, like she literally is one of my favorite authors now. So yeah, definitely those 2 are 2 new favorite authors of mine. Number 7, newest fictional crush. I don't really know if this crush is new, but obviously Xaden from Fourth Wing. I know it sounds super cliche, but that's why I'm so excited to see what happens in Onyx Storm. And then I'm reading a book right now that I'm obsessed with. This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. The male main character in that, Felix, the way he is described, like he is so my type. I love him. I think he's amazing. Like I don't know, like I loved him so much. And I'm just having trouble like thinking of any off the top of my head, but I read a few amazing romances recently, and the male main characters have just been amazing. Oh, obviously Daddy Cade, Kate Eaton, 100% a huge fictional crush now. Number 8, books that made you cry. So for this one, I didn't find myself crying a lot this year. I don't think if I just like lost my emotional touch or what it is, but a few books that did make me cry, and just like cry and frustration and also happiness, were literally all the Abby Jimenez books that I've mentioned. She writes about some heavy plot topics, whether it be about infertility or having a family member who's ill, terminally ill, just very hard topics to talk about, and they always make me cry, but she talks about them with such grace. And then as well as funny story, of course, Emily Henry always makes you cry, and Magnolia Parks. Magnolia Parks I think was just so frustrating that like I had to cry just to like get through it. Number 9, on the opposite side, books that made you happy. So the Chestnut Spring series makes me feel so much at home, and like specifically Heartless just made my heart like soar the whole time that I was reading it. Like I loved it so much, and like the way that Willow described feeling at home, like I felt like at home when I was reading that series. So that series definitely makes me really happy, and I can't wait to continue reading it. I also read Queen Charlotte recently, and that for some reason made me happy. I watched the show and I loved it, and getting to listen to the book and just kind of experience it and read George's point of view was really refreshing and a great experience, and yeah, there was just so many times where I found myself like smiling and giggling at them because their characters were just so cute. And then another book that I read recently that really just made me like happy was Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. So I thought that Hannah and Fox were super cute. The way that they kind of just like start off as friends warmed my heart, and the little things that Fox would do for her made me just so happy. And this was another like small town kind of thing where she got to reconnect with parts of her past that was just really lovely and did make me happy. I know that these 3 books were all books I kind of read recently, so maybe that's why they're fresh in my mind, but I just remember like the last few books I read making me so happy. And number 10, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. So for this one, I'm actually going to put a photo because I didn't receive it yet. I am going to be receiving this in the mail. So I just got the email today that it got shipped, and it is the Fairy Loot Dance of Thieves duology, kind of exclusive editions, and they are so beautiful and I'm so excited. And when they come, I will definitely show you guys in a video. But yeah, those are the ones that I think are the most beautiful that I've probably received this year or will be receiving, and I'm just so excited. Number 11. Okay, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I ended up going to my 2024 TBR video and looking at all the books that I listed there and looking at which ones I haven't read yet. So I'm going to list you the ones I haven't read yet, and that's going to be the books that I need to read by the end of 2024. So first we have Twisted Lies and King of Wrath by Anna Huang, and then we have Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, Betting on You by Lynn Painter, Powerless by Lauren Roberts, the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber, the entire Harry Potter series, the rest of the Shadow Me series. I want to start Red Rising and try it out. The rest of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. I want to start the Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas as well. And then I also have the Truly Devious series on this, The Housemaid's Secret, One of Us Is Back by Karen McManus, Fairy Tale, If It Bleeds, and Billy Summers by Stephen King, and then The Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest. I ended up starting that this year and then not finishing it, or like stopping 2 months in. So we're gonna see what happens with that one. But those are the books that I need to finish, so I should probably revamp my TBR cart so it has all those books on it. So those are all the questions. Now I'm gonna just briefly go through the 51 books I've read so far, what my ratings were, and just a quick thought about it. So the first book I started off with the year was Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas. I did rate this 5 stars. I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and I literally haven't picked up a Throne of Glass book since then, and that was at the beginning of this year, and I think it's just because I'm scared. I'm scared to continue, but it's okay. Next we have A Court of Thorns and Roses. This was a reread, and I did rate it 5 stars. Again, I did do a reread and annotating video if you want to go watch, but yeah, don't have much to say about this besides that like it was still 5 stars to me. Next we have None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I mentioned this earlier. It was a 5-star book for me. I loved it. I thought it was a great way to start off like with a mystery for the year, and I thought it was just a great book. The whole podcast thing, would definitely recommend if you haven't liked Lisa Jewell's books in the past. This is very different from her usual writing style, so definitely give it a try. Number 4, I read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I rated this one 4.5 stars. It's the first book in the series. I've never read Harry Potter before, wanted to try it. I kind of, you know, got my wrist slapped for not having tried it before, so yeah, Harry Potter, 4.5 stars. Next we have Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. I rated this one 5 stars. Loved that book. Third book in the series. It might be my favorite. I honestly can't decide. Next we read The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I rated this 3.5 stars, and I honestly don't remember a single thing about this book. I could not tell you what it was about. I think it has something to do with the professor. I don't remember. I audiobooked it, so I really don't remember. Number 7, The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. I rated this one 4 stars. This is a sequel to The Family Upstairs. I thought it was pretty good. Like it was a pretty good sequel, but it was definitely more in line with like Lisa Jewell's usual writing style. You know, the multiple POV. Like I still thought it was really good though. Number 8, The Hunger Games. Rated this one 4.5 stars. It was a reread. I was having a Hunger Games moment like Destiny was, and I really wanted to read it, so 4.5 stars. With that, also read Catching Fire. Rated that one 4.5 stars as well. And then I took a break before going on to Mockingjay, so that'll come back. But I ended up reading A Caller's Game by J.D. Barker for a book club that I joined, and this one I rated 4.5 stars. It's a popcorn thriller. Really liked it. It all takes place in the span of like a few hours, so very like high stakes, high anxiety when you're reading it. But I really liked it, so I'd definitely give it a try. After that, I read The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I rated that one 4 stars. I remember remember liking this book. I can't remember specifically what it was about it that bothered me. There was one piece of it that I didn't love, and I talked about it in a video. I can't remember if it was a certain quote that was said, or is this the book where he says that he wants her to milk him? It might be. I don't remember, to be honest, but yeah. Moving on, I did end up reading Mockingjay after that, rated it 4.5 stars, loved it. Amazing sequel, amazing finisher to the series. Then I read The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I rated this one 4.25 stars. I thought this one was super cute. It was the first kind of like adult book of Lynn Painter's that I had ever read, and I thought it was adorable. Would definitely read one of her adult books again. Number 14, Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. This one I was a little bit underwhelmed by. I was expecting it to be a lot more. I rated it 4 stars. I thought it was still a really good story, great plot. I understand why they've made like a series out of this now, but I think I've been told that it's not her best book, so I should like keep on trying other ones. Number 15, Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This one I rated 4.25 stars, but I honestly don't remember much about it. I read it really quickly. It was like a one-day type of read. Yeah, I remember it had to do with lying a lot, but I don't remember much about this book, but I did rate it 4.25 stars, so it must have been good. Number 16, Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. This one I rated 2 stars. I was kind of disappointed by it. I thought it had a lot of potential and I was excited about the premise, but ultimately it did let me down with execution. Number 17, Somebody's Daughter by Ashley Ford. I rated this one 5 stars. This is a memoir, and one thing about memoirs to me is that, one, I feel like it's really hard to rate them because who are you to say that somebody's story is worth 1 star or 2 stars or 3 stars or 4 stars or 5 stars. But I did think that it was really well written and had very meaningful messages and stories behind it, so I would definitely give it a read. Number 18, The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I loved this book. I rated it 4.75 stars. I loved Fizzy. This is kind of like a sequel to The Soulmate Equation. Fizzy was in that first book. She's a side character. She's like the best friend or something like that. And she gets her own book in this one, and I loved her. She's one of my favorite female main characters. I always tell people they have to read this book if they haven't read Christina Lauren yet, and yeah, I just loved it so much. Number 19, Once More with Feeling by Alyssa Sussman. You already know I rated this one 1 star. Didn't love it. Probably won't pick up an Alyssa Sussman book again, unfortunately. Number 20, The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This was another like kind of underwhelming. It was better than the first book by her that I read, The Guest List, but it still wasn't great. I rated it 3.5 stars. I think I just like, I don't know if it was the multiple POVs, if it got confusing, but I think I was just expecting more from it. Number 21, Scarred by Emily McIntyre. Considering I read Hooked and didn't love it, and then I read Scarred and rated it 4.75 stars, I think that was a huge redemption. Really liked that book, loved the plot, I thought it was great, and the whole like Lion King retelling actually wasn't as cringe as I thought it was gonna be. So yeah, definitely would recommend picking it up. Next we have First Lie Wins by Ashley Alston. I rated this one 4 stars. I thought it was actually really good. It was a book club pick and it was a lot of fun. Like, it kind of threw me for a loop, and I thought that the plot and whole concept was kind of crazy, so I would definitely recommend trying it. Number 23, a reread, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I rated this 5 stars again. I thought it was amazing. I loved the story behind it, and Evelyn Hugo is just like, she's my girl. She's my girl. I love her. I don't care what anybody says. She can do no wrong in my eyes. Number 24, another reread, The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. I wanted to reread this before going into Queen of Shadows, and then I never picked up Queen of Shadows. So that's fun, but I did reread it and I rated it 5 stars again. I think everybody should read The Assassin's Blade before the series so you can get that emotional impact of the book on its own, as well as if you want to do like a skimmer or read a summary or something before going into Airfire or Queen of Shadows. I think that's totally valid as well. Number 25, Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. So I want to continue the Addicted series this year, and I continued with Ricochet, picked it up. It was 4.5 stars. I really liked it. I just haven't picked up another one of the books since then, but I'm definitely going to. Like, this is not where I'm gonna stop. Yeah. Next we have Anna O by Matthew Blake. I rated this one 4.5 stars as well. This one was very reminiscent of like The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, and I did like it. Like, I thought it was a really good mystery thriller. So yeah, would definitely recommend trying that if you liked The Silent Patient. Next we have another reread. I read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. I rated this one 5 stars. Obviously, don't need to say much more. You can go watch the reread video if you'd like. Next, I read Magnolia Parks by Jessica Hastings. This is another 5-star read for me. I loved it. I thought all the drama and toxicity was amazing. I loved it. It added to the plot. So, number 29, I read Wretched by Emily McIntyre. Now, this was kind of disappointing after Scarred. I rated it 3.75 stars, so didn't love it, but didn't hate it. Can't really remember too much what it was about, to be fair, but it was still good. Like, I still liked it. There was just some stuff in it that I was like, what is going on? Number 30, Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This is another one that was a book club pick, and I rated it 3.75 stars. I thought it was a great book. It was really interesting. I think it just like, I felt like it was missing something. I was missing a part of the plot or something. So yeah, like to this day, I still feel like I'm missing something from that book. Number 31, An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn. Now, this is the lowest I've rated a Julia Quinn book. I rated it 2 stars. I was kind of disappointed with some of the actions that took place and decisions that were made, but I still love Julia Quinn's writing and the characters in this book. I just think that it just didn't feel like love in this book for me. Like it was giving me the ick. So yeah, but I still continued on after that. Number 32, I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. Rated that 5 stars, obviously. Loved that book. Made me cry, made me sob. I could relate to it in too many ways, and I'll probably relate to all of her books in some way for some reason because she's just able to do that. Number 33, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I did rate this 4 stars. I thought it was really good, but like comparing it to the original series is really hard. But it did, like, after watching the movie, it was basically a replica. Like, they were basically the same. So I did think it was well written and definitely provided some context for Snow's behaviors. Number 34, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I've already kind of talked about this. I did rate it 5 stars. I loved this book. I love all of Abby Jimenez's books, and I think you will too. So that's all I'm gonna say. Number 35, Flawless by Elsie Silver. Also talked about this. Rated it 5 stars. I love this series so much. I can't really say much more about it except that I love it and everybody needs to read it. Even if you think you don't like cowboys, you definitely do. Number 36, The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. Another Abby Jimenez book. I rated it 4 stars. There was a piece of it that I remember being like, but it was one of her older books as well, and it was still an amazing book in my opinion. I would still recommend it. Number 37, Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati. I rated this one 5 stars. This was a book club pick, and I wasn't expecting, like, of course I was expecting to love it, but just I was not expecting the story to be what it was and to love it as much as I did. So I would definitely recommend picking it up if you're looking for like a nice feminist retelling. After that, I read Circe by Madeline Miller and rated that one 4.5 stars. Again, another great feminist retelling that just like, it was just amazing to read their story and kind of go through their point of view compared to what you know historically. Number 39, I read The Happy Ever After Playlist by Abby Jimenez. Another 4-star Abby Jimenez book. Loved it. I thought it was so cute, and after having read The Friend Zone going to this book, it was wow. Just wow going into that book. Number 40, Mountains Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair. This was a cutie little novella. I rated this one 3.5 stars. I thought it was really cute, but ultimately not that memorable. Number 41, I read Alone with You in the Ether by Olive Blake. Rated this one 4.5 stars. Like I said, was surprised by it, but really did enjoy it and thought it was such an insightful and like artistic read in my opinion. Number 42, Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I rated this one 4.5 stars. I really loved this one too. It kept me on my toes. I thought the plot was really fun. There was a character in it that I didn't love, but I think it might have been necessary for the plot, so I'm gonna allow it. Then I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This one was kind of underwhelming to me. I thought it was still good, but I think I was just overwhelmed by the amount of like erotica, I'd say, that was in it. So I did rate that one 3.5 stars. Not my favorite Ali Hazelwood book, but I did really like the plot in this, like the whole like workplace feminist plot in this. I thought it was really fun. Number 44, The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This one I rated 4.5 stars. I thought this book was so cute, like the perfect YA summer book. We've got games going on, family dynamics, people just being cute together. Like I thought the couple was so cute, and yeah, I would definitely recommend. Now the rest of these books up until number 51 I read during the month of July, so I haven't done my July wrap up yet, so I don't want to like spoil my reviews for those, so I'll just tell you guys the rest of the books that I read. So I have read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn, Queen Charlotte by Julia Quinn, Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, Family of Liars by E. Lockhart, Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, and Heartless by Elsie Silver. I am in the middle of some books too, but those are basically all the books that I've read so far in 2024. Wow, that was a lot. Whew. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you kind of got to learn a little bit more about my reading styles and what I like to read. Comment down below what you've read so far this year, some of your answers to the tag questions if you'd like. I would love to see your answers. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye.